All right, I think we are live.
We are live. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. We're a few minutes early, and we're going to take a few minutes just to say hello and check in, let people arrive to this masterclass, and then kick off in a minute or two.
Yeah, so we are so glad to be here. We have been looking forward to this for many weeks, putting this course together and getting so excited to share this content with you guys. So while we are waiting, maybe go ahead and introduce yourself. If you guys have access to that chat box, go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us maybe where you're tuning in from. And that way we can kind of get to know you guys a little bit more.
Yes, and Tracy mentioned a chat box. If you are viewing this from YouTube, the YouTube page, you will see that chat box. And if you aren't, you're just viewing it from our webpage, you probably won't have access to that chat box, and it's totally okay. But regardless, if you do have access to that chat box, let us know how you found out about this masterclass and one thing you're hoping to learn.
Yeah, we love hearing this feedback from you guys. And then as we see things coming through the chat, if you have questions or things like that, we'll try to keep an eye on that chat box. But if we see the things that you're most excited to learn about, we will try to make sure we hit on those points as we go. And we are also going to make sure we leave a little bit of time towards the end for some Q&A. So if you have questions, keep those in mind for later.
Yes, and we love hearing your questions, so definitely don't be shy.
Yes. All right. I see hello from Pflugerville, Texas. I'm actually from Texas.
And I live in Austin, very close to Pflugerville. I love it.
Yeah.
Very cool. Tracy, how hot was it today in Phoenix? Was it another scorcher?
It actually was not that bad. I think it was only like 103, 104 because the monsoon started yesterday. Wow. So I miss storms like Texas storms. I haven't been around lightning and thunder in a long time. And it was just probably a solid hour of lightning and thunder. And it was awesome. We just sat in the backyard and watched it. It was nice.
Fun. I know when I moved from California to Texas, those storms were something amazing for me. Totally new.
Yes.
All right. So it is 7:30. Thank you guys so much for being here on time. We're really excited to get started. We are going to wait just a few more minutes to let people trickle in, and then we're going to kick things off.
Yeah, I see a couple other hellos here from Blairsville, Pennsylvania, and then Amanda from north of Seattle. Amanda, I love the Northwest. I actually spent about 5 years in Seattle. That's where I did my dietetic internship.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. And my husband's from Seattle, so we spend a lot of time there, and it's the best time of year in Seattle right now. Oh my God.
I know. I've been wanting to take a trip back. We haven't been back in years. That's where we got married, but we have wanted to go back and visit and just haven't made it happen yet. So we need to do that.
Yes. If you guys just are tuning in, we have a chat box on the YouTube page. So if you're viewing this from YouTube, you are more than welcome to let us know where you are tuning in from, ask any questions. And if you're watching this from our standard web page, you don't have access to a chat box, which is totally fine. Either way works for us. But if you're wondering how people are writing in, it is from the YouTube page.
Yes, I see some other hellos from Colorado, from North Carolina. Hi from Arizona. Awesome. I see a vote for West Coast is the best coast. We both spend a lot of time on the West Coast.
We do, but I will say I love New York as well.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. We're going to wait just a few more minutes, you guys. Thank you so much for being here on time, ready to take in all this information. We're so excited. We have been looking forward to this masterclass for really weeks now. So thank you for being here.
Yes. Oh, here's a hello from Virginia. Speaking of New York, from Queens, New York.
Oh, yeah.
A hello from California. This is so exciting seeing where all of you guys are from. That is one of the biggest reasons that we wanted to put on an online course like this, because we can reach people across the United States. So that's super exciting for us.
Yeah, and if you don't mind, let us know how you found out about this masterclass, whether it was from one of our Instagrams or on Facebook, or we had some friends who were nice enough to give us shout outs about our class tonight. So let us know how you found out about it. And thank you for being here.
Yep. And then, of course, anything specific that you want to learn tonight, you can share that with us as well. Here's a hello from Michigan.
Yes, and if you are just tuning in, I see that people are trickling in. The way that people are communicating with us, the way that people are writing in is via the YouTube page. So our standardized website page, there isn't an opportunity to write or access that chat box, but the YouTube page will give you that access. And watching from either page is great, but if you are wondering how to do that, check out the YouTube page.
Yep. All right, Carly, should we go ahead and get started?
Yes, I think that we should get started and we'll have some people join along the way. But 7:33, we want to be respectful of everyone's time. So I think that we should get started.
Yes. So, all right. Well, we have, like I said, we have been looking forward to this for a while. And tonight we are going to be sharing some things that have literally changed our lives. So this is information that we know is super valuable and we do not want you guys to miss it. So to make sure that you get the most out of our time together tonight, we encourage you guys to really focus on this masterclass, to close out of any other windows that are open on your computer, put down your phone, and really just dedicate this next hour or so to you and your health.
Absolutely. And feel free to take notes and write down any questions that you guys have. We definitely want to answer all of your questions along the way. And we're going to be leaving some time for Q&A at the end as well. So stick around for that. And you can also take note of where that chat box is. As I mentioned a few times, if you are viewing this from YouTube, you'll be able to write in and ask questions there. We love interacting with you guys, and we're going to be asking you some questions throughout as well. And we want to know that you're out there and listening, so don't be shy.
For sure. And then lastly, make sure you stick around to the end of our class tonight because we are going to be giving away some goodies, hundreds of dollars of free stuff. And honestly, who doesn't love to get freebies, right? So with that, let's get going. This is the 5 keys to overcome Hashimoto's and finally feel like yourself again, even if it seems overwhelming or impossible. You can keep doing things the hard way, or you can finally learn how to take back your health for good. This masterclass is all about the crucial things that you need to do to truly heal your Hashimoto's. Carly and I have both had long, drawn-out journeys to get into good places with our health after we were diagnosed with Hashimoto's. And because of that, we are serious about making sure that other women have the information that they need so that they can bypass some of that hardship that we experienced and get their health back as well. So that is why we are so excited to have you all here tonight, because we want to see you improve your health and your life just like we have done, and just like we have helped countless clients do through our coaching programs as well. The things that we're going to share here tonight are the real things that we teach our clients and which we have adopted ourselves. And this is not just a short-term fix or a Band-Aid. We are here to help you on your path to long-term sustainable healing.
So this class is for you if you have been diagnosed with Hashimoto's or believe you might have Hashimoto's. This is for spouses, parents, or family members who want to better support those they know who have Hashimoto's. And then also, if you've ever felt confused, overwhelmed, fatigued, or full of symptoms, or just fed up with your thyroid condition, then this is for you. And if these things resonate with you, you guys, pay attention, because this is going to be a super powerful 60 minutes for your health.
So we have so much information that we want to share with you, but we are going to keep it to the super important pieces of information, the top 5 things that you need to know in order to truly heal. So, in the next hour or so, we are going to cover how to stop the conventional approach to Hashimoto's from actually holding back your health and how to uncover the healing potential in the exact information that your doctor isn't telling you about thyroid autoimmunity.
We are also going to cover what the biggest driver of Hashimoto's is in the body and what to do about it. So, this is the truth about how Hashimoto's really starts and why it occurs. And we're also going to cover how to harness personal healing power to take the next steps to improving your body's health. And this is so you can walk away tonight with steps to better your state.
Mhm. So, if you stick around here with us tonight, our big promise to you is that you will leave our time together knowing the 5 biggest keys to implement to overcome your Hashimoto's and get your life back. And I realize this may seem kind of crazy to you if you are in the pits of the Hashimoto struggle. And you guys, we get that. We have been there. If you feel like you've done everything your doctor has told you to do and you've seen no improvement, or if you've had Hashimoto's forever and you can't even imagine or comprehend what it feels like to be full of energy anymore, don't you worry. Stay with us because we are going to show you the exact play by play that you need to hear. We have both been able to figure out how to live well with this disease and have helped so many of our clients do the same. So even if this seems crazy, don't worry, stick around and hear us out.
Yes, but before we get started, this is important. You guys are here because you want to heal your Hashimoto's, but you need to know a few things up front. So if these things resonate with you, maybe leave us a little check mark in that YouTube chat box so we know that you can hear us out there and that you are on board. So firstly, you guys, there isn't a magic pill for healing autoimmunity. It just doesn't exist. And if anyone tells you that there is, run, because there is no such thing, even if we wish there was. Next, no closed-mindedness. Your health is just too important for that. So keep an open mind and heart about your health, your thyroid, and how to improve both of those things. Also, this one's really big. You have to be ready, like actually ready to feel better than just okay. And lastly, you have to be willing to put in the work. It is time. And we can't do this for you, but we can show you how. So if you are listening and you are on board with these rules, let's keep it moving.
Yes, but before we get into all of the really good stuff, we just want to check in with you to see where you're at. So let us know in the comments if any of this next part sounds like you. You can type, "That's me," or "Heck yes," or whatever you want. Even just leave a hand raise emoji in the chat box. Let us know. And raise your hand if you feel like you're living your days in a fog, you've slowly put on weight, and your digestion is a constant pain point. You're starting to question if this is just what your life is going to be like from here on out. And you guys, that is no way to live this life. Or maybe you see other people with Hashimoto's who feel energized and unconsumed by their health and on the other side of that healing journey, and you're starting to feel a little envious of their state. Or maybe you're just even at a total loss as to how they got there. You might be thinking, am I missing something major here? I see so many of you saying, yes, 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 that is me. So many hands up in the chat box. You guys are definitely relating here. Raise your hand if your doctor says your thyroid numbers are in range, but you continue to schedule appointments because things just feel off, and all your doctor can offer you is more of the same thyroid medicine that doesn't even seem to be helping that much. It's the same thing time after time. Or maybe you feel overwhelmed and even paralyzed because you just aren't sure which step to take or where to start, so you just don't. You guys, that was totally me. I had so much information, but I had no idea where to start or how to use it. And we hear this way too much. It is honestly such a big problem in the Hashimoto's community.
It's so true. And on top of all of that, you feel like parts of who you are missing. And you know that your family, friends, and colleagues probably notice too. You can't show up the way you want to consistently, and your outlook on life has changed without any notice. And we know how horrible this can be, and we have 100% been there and experienced all of these things ourselves. And I can tell you that it was one of the lowest times in my life.
For sure. And I know that was a lot of kind of like downers there, but I want you guys to hear this. There is some good news in all of this. If any of that sounds like you, if you can relate to any of those issues, and you guys are buzzing in the chat box over here that you can, then take comfort in knowing that these things are not the real problem. The real problem is that you haven't implemented the 5 essential keys to healing.
So once you implement these 5 keys, your antibodies and thyroid numbers will come back into range, and you'll get to experience life without your debilitating symptoms. This definitely happened to me. You'll return to being calm and collected, and will have a clear mind with a brain that feels like it's tuned in and working instead of all that brain fog. And you'll actually understand your disease and how to manage it, both with your doctor and on your own. And you'll feel like yourself again and get to be the employee, mom, friend, and partner that you want to be. And that's huge. So we're going to keep going here. Once you implement these 5 keys, you'll stop wasting time feeling overwhelmed and paralyzed by your next step, and finally be able to take action that your body has been asking you to take. You'll stop putting your dreams and goals on the sideline because you don't feel good enough to go after them. And you'll have the confidence moving forward that you can manage your Hashimoto's long term. So you guys, how does that sound? Like, all of our Hashimoto's patients and clients, they want their health back. They want their lives back. And I can only imagine that this doesn't sound half bad to you guys either.
I know that those were the kinds of things that I dreamed of in the early days of my Hashimoto's journey, for sure. So before we go too much further, let us just take 2 seconds here real quick to introduce ourselves so that you know who we are and why we have skin in the Hashimoto's community, aka why in the world you should listen to us. So my name is Tracy Grant. I am a registered dietitian and a certified health coach living in Phoenix, Arizona. I found my way into the world of integrative nutrition by way of my own Hashimoto's and small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. I am a registered dietitian who broke out of the conventional model and has been using food as medicine in my own life and the life of my clients for many years now, and have overcome Hashimoto's and SIBO myself, and now get to help my clients do the same in their own lives.
And hello, everyone. My name is Carly Johnson Bronner. I am a health coach and a Hashimoto's advocate who's in the wellness space because of my personal struggle with Hashimoto's. I truly went through it all. Brain fog, it was horrible, fatigue, depression, and hair loss, and so many more things. Today, I bring my personal healing journey and thyroid expertise to help others optimize their health and Hashimoto's. And I write and speak about autoimmunity, thyroid health, non-toxic living, and holistic wellness.
So that's who we are. We're excited to be here with you guys. So earlier on, we mentioned that over our years of healing, we have come to discover a few key things that were game changers for our own health and also for the health of our clients. And both of us kind of had a similar experience of coming to find these 5 common keys.
So I was the person walking around feeling like a shell of myself. My mood was everywhere. Fatigue was off the charts. My skin was breaking out. I had digestion problems. And my period, they were all out of sorts. I was showing up in my relationships, at work, and in general as someone I didn't even recognize. And here's the thing. I did everything that my doctor told me to do, but I kept feeling lifeless, tired, and moody. I had no idea what to do to just feel better. So, as I started researching for my own health and applying what I was learning to myself and my clients, I started to see some major commonalities that came up over and over again. And then when I applied them to my life, everything changed for my own health and subsequently in the health and lives of my clients as well.
So once we clued in to the true essence of Hashimoto's, we recognized there was so much more that we could do to improve our health and get our lives back. And this is what we want to teach you today. So here we are. Without further ado, this is the 5 keys to overcome Hashimoto's and finally feel like yourself again, even if it feels overwhelming or impossible. So like we said, this masterclass is those 5 crucial things that you need to do to truly heal, and we are so excited to share them with you. Cumulatively, Carly and I have spent almost 10 years learning about, studying, and implementing lifestyle modifications for Hashimoto's firsthand. And we are serious about making sure that others have the information that they need to get their health back as well. So that is why we're so excited to have you all here today, because we want to see you improve your health and your life, because we know that it is possible. So as a reminder, what we're going to share here today is not just a short-term fix. We are going to share the 5 things that will help you on your path to long-term healing. So here are the keys. Number 1, the first key you need to implement is to ditch your doctor's limiting beliefs. So let us explain a little bit about what we actually mean here.
So tell us, does this sound familiar, you guys? This is just how Hashimoto's is. You go back to your doctor time and time again, only to be told that you need to take more medicine and you probably should eat less and exercise more to help with the weight gain. There's nothing else your physician can do. And maybe you have even asked your doctor point blank, is there anything else I can do for this? What about my diet or my lifestyle? And you continuously just hear no. So discouraged, you resign yourself to accept that this is what life with Hashimoto's and hypothyroidism is. And you do your best to adjust to life feeling subpar most of the time. I completely did that. And you realize that somehow this new standard has become your daily normal. And quite frankly, it sucks.
How many of you guys can relate to this? Let us know in the chat box. I hear this all the time with my clients. Someone shared here in the chat just now, my doctor has Hashimoto's too and still says just take meds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So here's the thing, you guys. You have to believe that healing is possible. The truth is, with the right tools, you can put a stop to Hashimoto's. Our bodies are strong and capable of healing, and they are always working for us and not against us. But if you don't believe if you don't truly believe that healing is possible, you won't be able to fully heal. And we have witnessed this over and over again, regardless of what physicians have said. There's no doubt about it. You can heal, but you have to believe it. I love this quote by Henry Ford. He says, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. And that is such a powerful idea. And it truly speaks to how important our mindset is in all of this. Ditch those limiting beliefs of your doctor, because you guys, you can heal.
And then if you are a visual learner like I am, this is for you. So we see here an example of what this phenomena looks like for so many people. In the left bottom corner, a woman named Linda, let's call her, is in a bubble. And Linda has Hashimoto's and she feels terrible. And in that bubble is Linda's doctor's limiting beliefs and medication-only approach to thyroid disease. And also the general idea that so many people have about Hashimoto's, that there isn't much Linda can do to get her health back and her life back. So you guys, the mentality and approach inside this bubble is holding Linda back from good health and a vibrant life. And we want to make sure that you are not stuck in this bubble, and that if you haven't already, you ditch the limiting beliefs around the quality of health one can experience with Hashimoto's, because this is so important.
Yes, it gets me fired up. Carly, you did a great job with that explanation and that graphic. So let's take a minute and just be candid here together. Take a good look at your mindset. How are you doing? And where are you at? What are your personal thoughts around healing and around overcoming Hashimoto's? And what is stopping you from believing in your body? Here's one to think about. What kinds of things do you say to yourself and about yourself in your head?
And you guys, you can share these things in the chat if you want. We'd love that. Or you can keep them to yourself. But we truly do encourage you to think about these questions. So are you ready to heal? Because it is time. And key one is so crucial.
It's really the foundation. And before we move on to our second point, I want to share what Cheryl had to say. She said, "There are simply no words sufficient to express my appreciation of the truth being shared by you and Carly. I feel that the standard medical community has left me in the dark for at least 20 years. I was prescribed a thyroid medication. That's it. No mention of Hashimoto's or lifestyle influences." And we hear this time and time and time again. The standard medical community has their way that they approach hypothyroidism, and it's time to stop letting that hold us back from healing. So now that we know how important our mindset around healing is, let's move on to our second key idea, which is this: your thyroid isn't actually the problem.
Okay, that sounds crazy. What do we mean here? So you guys, you heard it right. Your thyroid is taking the hit here, but it's not causing the fuss. Hashimoto's and hypothyroidism are not the same thing. And I want to break this down for you a little bit. So conventional care treats hypothyroidism and Hashimoto's the same, with a medication-only approach, a medication-only option. And this is problematic because the conditions aren't the same. Hypothyroidism is a general term that describes a lack of thyroid hormone in the body. And then Hashimoto's is an autoimmune condition where the immune system damages the thyroid, leading and causing hypothyroidism. So there is a difference there. And Hashimoto's can be hypothyroidism, and someone with hypothyroidism can have Hashimoto's, but they are different. And we want to show you guys a picture, a little graphic to really explain this. So the first row, the top row, is normal thyroid function. The body and the thyroid are working in harmony to produce adequate amount of thyroid hormone in the body. So that green little battery is adequate thyroid hormone in the body. And then the second row shows us and breaks down what Hashimoto's is. So you guys will see here that Hashimoto's starts with immune system dysregulation. The immune system attacks the thyroid and destroys it. And by doing this, it reduces the thyroid's ability to make enough thyroid hormone. So you can see that low battery, low thyroid hormone. And what I want you to note here is that the immune system dysregulation is key, because it's what differentiates Hashimoto's from general hypothyroidism. And that's exactly what the lowest row, the hypothyroid row, shows us. Hypothyroidism means low thyroid hormone levels in the body, but it's not caused by immune system destruction. It's caused by a variety of bodily imbalances, and that can look different from person to person. But the immune system is not causing thyroid damage here with hypothyroidism.
And I'm a visual learner too, and I think that graphic really did a great job of explaining that concept. So here's what's really going on. As autoimmunity continues in the body and Hashimoto's develops, thyroid damage occurs and then hypothyroidism occurs. So autoimmunity is the problem here, and it is manifesting in your thyroid. The thyroid is the innocent bystander in the situation.
So if we take all of this if we take all of this, the standard treatment, it really doesn't make sense, you guys. So treating Hashimoto's and hypothyroidism the same ignores the important autoimmune component of Hashimoto's. Does that make sense? So this would be like stepping on a tack and taking a painkiller, but not actually removing the tack from your foot. And I'm curious, if you are in that chat box, let us know. Has your doctor ever mentioned your immune system dysregulation as part of your diagnosis? And honestly, for the majority of people out there, I doubt it. But in reality, 80% of people who are told that they have hypothyroidism have Hashimoto's. So by this point, we have made it super clear that the thyroid isn't the source of the problem when it comes to Hashimoto's. So how do you address the immune system problem? If you guys were wondering this or asking this yourself, you are one step ahead of us because this is what we are going to share with you next.
Yes, and I see lots of no's, nevers, nopes, not at all in the chat box over here. Oh, your doctors are not sharing this information with you guys, and you're going to see why this information is so important. But first, before we go there, I want to share this quick little tidbit from Enya. So Enya says, I was diagnosed in the last 6 months. I knew the very basics, but I feel so much more educated and aware of what is happening in my own body. I had never thought about why this happened to me. Carly and Tracy helped me start thinking about why and where to go from there. And Enya's comment here leads us right into our next key, which is to change your prescription. Now, this might be a little different than what you're imagining. It actually has little to do with medication, but it's a crucial key to understand.
So here's the thing. As we mentioned, almost everyone, and we are talking 80%, you guys, who has a thyroid problem has Hashimoto's. And left unmanaged, it's not going to resolve itself. And on top of that, studies show that there are additional health complications such as more autoimmune disease, hormonal imbalances, challenges with fertility, and even heart disease when left unmanaged.
So just like leaving that tack in your foot can lead to infection and disease, simply treating your hypothyroid symptoms alone and ignoring the immune system may lead to decreased health and additional autoimmunity. Conventional hypothyroid care can actually hinder your health in this way, and that's because they are missing the most crucial part of treatment. They approach this with a pill for an ill mentality.
So if you approach this wrong, it's possible that you could live with the brain fog, the fatigue, and all the symptoms that so many of you guys chimed in and said you're experiencing for a long time. And some of the health issues mentioned above may creep in. But if you approach this right, we've been talking about that immune system as a crucial approach to healing, then you can get your life back. You can live that vibrant life that you want without being plagued with the brain fog and fatigue every single day, because no one has time for that. So here is what we mean when we say that the conventional approach is missing out on a crucial part of Hashimoto's treatment. So they jump straight to treating the low thyroid hormone levels. You can see that blue arrow. That is what the conventional model is treating. But they neglect the immune system, the reason why Hashimoto's begins in the first place. So those green arrows are pointing to what is causing Hashimoto's. And that cause is what we call the root cause. So are you guys getting how pivotal this shift is? Truly, it is life-changing.
Yes, and it is recognizing that there is a root cause for why autoimmunity is happening in your body, and then focusing your efforts on identifying that why and fixing it. That is the pivotal shift. So we call this root cause healing, and it is the missing piece of true long-term healing from Hashimoto's. It means asking, why is my immune system off balance, and how did it get there in the first place? You guys, to find your healing, You have to find your Hashimoto's why.
And autoimmunity, it doesn't just happen. There is always a reason why. So root causes for each Hashimoto's patient is going to be different, and we see that every day. But common root causes for Hashimoto's are things like leaky gut, excess stress, viral activity in the body, gluten sensitivity, birth control, nutrient deficiencies, and there are so many more that we don't have time to go into all of them today, right now. But those are some common root causes. And if I'm speaking personally, birth control, infections, and food sensitivities were some of my own root causes.
Oftentimes, we see that the root cause healing approach will include specific dietary shifts, maybe stress management and stress reduction, gut healing protocols, targeted supplementation, alternative therapies, toxin exposure reduction, sleep improvement, and again, so many more things than we could list right here. And the root cause approach is a holistic approach. It's so much more than just simply a medication prescription. So here's the thing. If you hear just one thing, let this be it. Hashimoto's is just a symptom of a root cause issue that needs to be addressed. I'm going to say that again because it's that important. Hashimoto's is just a symptom of a root cause issue that needs to be addressed. All of these things that you're experiencing are just your body's way of trying to communicate that it needs help. And you have that ability to help. You can feel better. And root cause healing is the missing piece of true long-term healing from Hashimoto's.
So you guys, I want to take a minute to share Trisha's story with you. This is what she says. I was very discouraged when I was diagnosed. I had a handful of very frustrating and tearful appointments. I threw my hands up and ignored my Hashimoto's. Tracy and Carly have given me a renewed hope and helped to motivate me to be proactive and take an active role in my health and dive in. Thank you. So Trisha went from feeling discouraged, frustrated, and pretty much ready to give up to feeling motivated and proactive and full of hope that her understanding of root cause healing will enable her to finally make significant progress towards feeling better every day, towards better health.
And that hope is everything. As we mentioned back in our very first point, you have to believe that you can heal. So let's recap here for a second. After we learned about the importance of mindset, we learned that Hashimoto's needs to be treated differently than hypothyroidism because Hashimoto's is an autoimmune condition that causes hypothyroidism. They're not the same thing. If you use the conventional standard of care, you are setting yourself up for potentially more health issues down the line. And now we just learned that the best thing you can do is to ask yourself, why do I have this disease in the first place? And then treat that root cause. This is a total game changer. And the next key highlights one of the biggest benefits that comes from this shift.
So this is one of my favorite keys. The fourth key is to stand out from the Hashimoto's crowd. And if you're out there, we are encouraging you to embrace your rebel side right now. So I know you've heard this quote. The definition of insanity is doing the same things over and over again and expecting different results. For many, this looks like going back to their doctor year after year and leaving with a higher prescription and never feeling any better. When the current Hashimoto standard is symptomatic, low energy, with metabolic issues, and mild depression, why would you want to fit in? And this is so huge. The standard Hashimoto's mold does not work for us, you guys. We personally refuse to fit in with the Hashimoto's norm, and we help our clients every day stand out from the standard of the Hashimoto's community as well. So if you are fed up with the Hashimoto's norm, give us a little checkbox in the chat box. Let us know. But I want to let you know that we have good news for you. And that is that you can get your health back. You can. You can reduce and eliminate your symptoms. Your labs and antibodies can come back into optimal range, and you can finally feel like yourself again on a daily basis. And goodness, what a major relief. I can tell you 100% that finally experiencing this firsthand was such a turning point in my life. Feeling like me, like truly like myself again, that was honestly my biggest benefit of healing, because I felt like I lost a huge piece of me, and getting my Hashimoto's under control, I was able to bring that person back.
Yeah, I see you guys agreeing, saying, yes, stop the insanity, checkbox here in the chat. So I love this quote by Dr. Mark Hyman. He says, over my several decades working as a functional medicine doctor, I can assure you that even in the toughest cases, you can heal your thyroid. And that quote gave me so much hope when I first read it. And finding and treating your root cause will finally allow you to experience true, sustainable healing. It is possible, and it is time. Remember, this root cause approach that we're talking about here is not common practice when treating Hashimoto's. But the current common practice leaves most patients just slogging through life. It's time to stand out from that crowd and make a change that is actually going to make a difference.
So again, for my visual people out there, we see that many Hashimoto's patients are fatigued, slightly depressed, unhappy with their body, and many are in a dark place about it all. This is unfortunately what we see as the Hashimoto's standard today. So the people in black ink in the shadows back there, they represent and embody this norm that we're talking about. And this is why we encourage people to take that chance and stand out from the Hashimoto's crowd. Just like this green person who is broken out of the mold, and he's living with a little pizzazz and lots of energy. So improvement is possible, and so is healing and living a big, vibrant life full of whatever you desire. And we have seen this plenty of times, and more importantly, we've experienced it ourselves.
It truly is a transformation. So let's take a look at what Andrea has to say. She says, I had been feeling stuck and discouraged. I now feel more confident, equipped in knowledge, and overall more empowered to move forward on my healing journey. Carly and Tracy have provided several tools and resources while also encouraging me to continue improving my own quality of life and health. So you can see from Andrea's story here that she was in that stuck and discouraged, somewhat dark place. And after applying these keys and working with us, she is well on her way to better health. She now has the tools and the resources to take her health into her own hands, which brings us to our fifth and final key,
which is stop relying on your doctor to fix you. So we were raised to think that doctors knew it all. But the reality is, you guys, you can't rely on your doctor to just simply fix you. We have a chronic disease epidemic to show for this. Conventional medicine is great at so many things, but their approach to chronic illness and autoimmune management isn't their strength. So mention root cause and they're gonna look at you confused. Ask about diet, potential viruses, or gluten, and they'll say that none of it matters. And this is part of the reason why the Hashimoto's norm that we just talked about is what it is today. So what gives? Your first option is rinse and repeat. Keep doing what you're doing, seeing the same doctor, feeling subpar most days, and continuing to be a part of the Hashimoto's norm. Your MD, unless licensed as a specific integrative physician, won't use that root cause or holistic approach as part of their protocol for your healing. And your appointment is probably going to be just like the last.
Or you can dig in and you can make a change. So you're probably listening to this information like, okay, it's time. I needed to hear this, and I am ready to address my Hashimoto's for real. I know my doctor isn't going to lead this charge, and I am ready to dig in myself. And yes, that's what I have to say. Get it. Be that driving force. We see plenty of people who change their health by taking responsibility for their health and their lifestyle, by making both small and large changes, by becoming empowered patients, and by deciding that it is no longer worth it to live sick and play small. So pick a next step, big or small. It could be to start learning more about Hashimoto's, or spending 5 minutes outside every morning, or even just drinking more water. But whatever you do, just take that first step.
So we have covered a lot today. And one of the biggest things we want you to take away from this masterclass is that you have so much control over your health and your Hashimoto's. You have more control over it than most people believe. There are so many action steps that you can take that are going to lead you closer to discovering and treating your root cause. So you can dig in yourself and learn all this information on your own. But trying to figure all of it out by yourself can be overwhelming, exhausting, and isolating. And the reason we know this is because we spent years doing it. Or we've taken that info that we've spent years learning, understanding, and implementing, and created a step-by-step process for you. We put everything you need to know in one organized place so that you can save that precious time and energy and put it towards overcoming Hashimoto's on the path that we have outlined for you.
So let's take a second and think back to the beginning. The mindset today, today we promise to share the mindset shift that is going to open up new opportunities, methods, and pathways for Hashimoto's healing, a health overhaul, and getting your life back from the thyroid fog. We also promise to share that focusing on the true driver of Hashimoto's instead of just the symptoms will set you up for healing success with less frustration and fewer years of stuck in the mud symptoms, which is what we all want. We also promise to share the only healing approach that sustainably reverses autoimmunity, symptoms, and puts thyroid back into range for the long term. And we also promise to share the secret sauce that Hashimoto's patients who feel great apply to their health and their life. So hopefully you tracked with us as we walked through the 5 keys that deliver each of these results.
Yes, so those 5 keys are what you need to heal. And they are to focus on your mindset. You have to believe that you can heal. Remember, we want to overcome those limiting beliefs. And then to stop blaming your thyroid, to change your prescription based on your personal root cause. And then this one's my favorite, stand out from the thyroid norm. And the last thing you need to heal is to stop relying on your doctor to fix you. But you guys, where do you start?
It's a great question. Option 1 is to take this information and use it to find and address your root cause, and then decide which lifestyle as medicine changes are most impactful for your health. You can go to your appointments prepared and ready to advocate for yourself and start digging for that root cause. But we get that people are busy and there's a lot of information out there, and many people just don't know where to start. And that's exactly where I was. I didn't know how to take the first step. Lucky for you guys, if you know that this plan of doing this whole thing on your own might not be the most successful or efficient approach for you, we have got you covered.
So option 2 is the incredible course that we have created. It's called the Healing Hashimoto's course, and we are so excited to be able to share it with you all tonight. And it is already halfway full and it hasn't even opened up to the public yet. So we're excited to give you guys this information so you can join us too. And the reason we created this course is because we needed this course when we were also in the Hashimoto's dumps. And we're so excited to be able to offer it to people like you who are in those same shoes today.
So this is a step-by-step 6-week program of intimate group coaching to teach you how to be an empowered Hashimoto's patient who knows what Hashimoto's is and how it works, how to find your personal root cause, and remember, that is huge, and how to address healing your root cause so that you can finally take control of your Hashimoto's. You get all of our expertise and learn the information that we desperately needed when we were struggling with our own Hashimoto's. It's a curated collection of videos, worksheets, handouts, Hashimoto's community, and live weekly calls with the two of us to support your Hashimoto's needs and healing. You guys, we are so excited to literally be able to hand all of this over to you. It's like a blueprint for healing. This is all of the information that we have spent years learning, applying, and teaching to our own one-on-one clients. And we turned it into a course so that it would be more accessible to anyone who needs it.
And I don't know if you guys can hear how excited we are about this. This is all the information that helped us heal and that our clients embrace on their healing journey as well. So it is your choice. You can either take this information and completely forget about it, keep doing what you're doing, living with that fatigue, and trying to figure it out on your own. And we have been there. I had stacks and stacks of papers and research that I tried my hardest to read through, but I just didn't have the energy or the time. And it was hard at that point to fully understand all of the lingo. And then not to mention on top of all of that, I was still trying to work a full-time job, manage a side hustle, and take care of my family. Wow. Focus on my health, it just kept getting pushed on the back burner because I didn't have time or the resources to figure it all out on my own. And the other option is to get a jump start on feeling the way that you know you deserve and finally understanding your Hashimoto's, how it affects you, and to be able to live the life that you want to live, not being held back by this disease. And you guys, I say this wholeheartedly, you can do this.
Absolutely. We know that you want more from your life and to be free from the way that Hashimoto's is holding you back. If you're like us, you have tried everything, but nothing seems to make a lasting difference in how you feel, and you feel stuck in this cycle. And so many of you shared in the chat that you can relate to that. That's because there is a missing piece of the puzzle. You know you need to try something new and get help from someone who has been there and who has overcome it.
So that missing piece that you haven't found, that's the root cause of your Hashimoto's. You haven't found and healed that root cause, you guys, and that is why you're still living with those symptoms that you shared with us in the chat box. So you want to feel in control of your health, energized, clear-headed, and get your metabolism back on track. You know you need a trustworthy guide in this process who understands Hashimoto's, has success helping others improve their autoimmune health, and who has been where you are before, which we both have. And you also, I'm sure, wish someone could just tell you exactly what to do, what is important, and what the best next step is for your health. And you guys, we have got your back. We know that this is exactly what so many of you out there have been looking for. That's why you signed up for this masterclass. And it's also part of the reason that we created this. So if you're thinking to yourself, oh my goodness, this is exactly what I have been looking for, then sign up as soon as you can for our course, the Healing Hashimoto's course, because it's already halfway sold out from those who are on our wait list. And we are only taking a small group because we want to be as hands-on as possible, every single person in our course. So if you're seriously interested, make sure you get on that enrollment list before it sells out. And let's check this quote out from a graduate who's in our last round of the course. Healing Hashimoto's has not only provided a wealth of information and knowledge, but also a sense of community and support. The level of genuine support from the girls is immeasurable. No matter how long it's been since your diagnosis, I guarantee you'll learn new things each week that you never knew before. It's been such a great opportunity for me to learn from them in this course.
And we love getting to share this information with you guys. That's why we do it. And we especially love getting to share our own personal experiences because we know that there is so much that we can learn from one another. And honestly, it's one of the biggest assets of this course. So with that, let's dig into the specifics of the Healing Hashimoto's course so that you know exactly what you are getting. So we have 6 weeks of curated content that walks you step by step through everything from the foundational concepts of what the thyroid does and why that even matters, all the way through what you need to understand about diet, lifestyle, and environment in order to heal, how to manage your flares, how to best work with your provider, and so much more. So let's just break it down quickly, module by module.
Yes, so the first module is all about foundations. What Hashimoto's is, the 3 big factors needed for autoimmunity to express itself, how the thyroid works, how Hashimoto's changes the thyroid, and the effects of Hashimoto's on the whole body. You need to understand these things to heal these things. And this is so important for Hashimoto's patients to have a grasp of, but what we've seen is that most don't.
Mm-hmm. And in our second module, we're going to take a look at Hashimoto's and its connection to the gut, the adrenals, and the sex hormones. These things are tightly intertwined and they truly impact one another all day long. We're going to learn how to stop stress from directly impacting your thyroid health. We'll also learn the ins and outs of your thyroid labs and ranges, as well as the differences in types of thyroid medication and which ones are best for different people. This is one of my favorite weeks because after this week, you won't feel in the dark anymore when you go see your doctor.
So module 3, we are going to talk all about how to use food to improve your Hashimoto's and which foods to avoid for autoimmune health. We're going to cover the major healing diets so that you can understand which one may be best for your personal needs and why. And we'll also talk about thyroid boosting nutrients and foods, along with some key supplements that can make a big impact.
And after that, we'll discuss some really neat alternative healing methods that you may have never heard about, but which are making big waves in scientific literature. We'll even teach you how to try these out safely for yourself if you want to. We're also going to talk about which toxins cause direct harm to the thyroid and how to reduce these by replacing their sources with safer alternatives, including some of our favorite brands and the products that we personally use on a daily basis.
And then in module 5, we're going to talk about the difference between the different types of providers and then how to maximize your care when working with them. This is so important. We're also going to give you the need to know info on potential complications and other health outcomes that Hashimoto's has been known to increase the risk of. This is important to know about. So it's important to know about these things so you guys can avoid them down the line.
Mm-hmm. And last but not least, we are going to talk about short-term healing and long-term healing and how those look different in Hashimoto's. We will also explore flares and how to handle them, and we'll talk about a little bit more in depth of why your mindset regarding autoimmunity matters and how to better your thoughts to make the most of your healing. It really is a comprehensive course that we have poured our hearts into, and it has everything that you need to know And it's laid out and created in a way to be understandable for anyone.
So, you guys, that is 6 months packed with content, delivered in video format with worksheets and handouts to accompany. And each module is valued at $300 for a total of $1,800. But do not worry, we are going to be giving you a huge deal.
Because we are all about the deals, you guys. That's not all. In addition to all of those modules, you will also have access to our coaching throughout the program. And some of that happens through the live portion of the course. So these are weekly calls where you can get any of your burning questions answered in real time, conversation style, with the two of us. We got awesome feedback about this part of the course last round.
Yes. So hour-long calls with the two of us would be probably over $200 each. So if you were just working with us via group coaching in a 6-week program, that would be over $1,200. And you also get access to an incredible group of women with Hashimoto's who support, engage, and honestly problem solve with you. And they're also doing everything they can to take back control of their health. And I have looked, I swear, there is nothing else like this on the internet.
It's really true. Here's what someone from our last group had to say about these live coaching calls. I think the live calls are invaluable. This helps make the course interactive and personal. I have enjoyed learning the detailed information. And honestly, we have so much fun together. We cover so much material and we really get to dig in and make sure that everyone has a plan to apply the content to their life, which really, let's be honest, that is the important part.
Absolutely. So if we're looking at all of that, that brings the total value up to $3,000. And don't tune us out. That sounds crazy. Because like we've said, we have a really, really good deal for you.
So I know you're waiting to hear about that deal, but I want you to think about something here for just a second. So imagine this with me. By the end of the course, you know the ins and outs of thyroid health, autoimmune function, and Hashimoto's. Your confusion melts away and you feel armed with knowledge. Imagine you start implementing the exact healing protocols and interventions that are best for your personal situation. You have a complete healing blueprint mapped out and you know what to do to execute it. You've figured out how to better work with your doctor and you know the right questions to ask and tests to request to support your body and thyroid, and better yet, how to understand them. Imagine your symptoms have started to reduce, and every day you can feel yourself in both mind and body making healing progress. You're trying not to get too excited, but you can start to feel the old you coming back. And guys, I get so excited just talking about these things because they are life-changing. And we want these things for you because they were transformational for us.
It's so true. So this is exactly what Lori shared with us about her experience in the course. 2.5 years after being diagnosed, I have struggled to understand the why behind much of the information I've gathered from my doctor and my own research. Tracy and Carly delivered a comprehensive program that took all the confusion out of Hashimoto's for me. This course not only gave me increased understanding, but also true hope that I can make significant progress towards remission. Their real life experience with Hashimoto's helped me feel connected and heard. Thank you, ladies, for making such a positive impact on my healing journey, Lori. So you can just hear the transformation in her story. She went from feeling lost, pretty much without direction, frustrated and overwhelmed, to full of hope, confidence, and on the healing path.
It's so true. It gets me so excited. I love hearing that feedback. So we just went over everything that is already included in the course. And on top of that, we are giving away a few epic bonuses for those of you who attended this webinar because we are First of all, so grateful that you are here. And secondly, we know that you need these things that we're about to give you.
So the first bonus is the Hashimoto's and hypothyroid lab guide and tracker. So this is your guide to the most important thyroid tests and the labs you need to be asking your doctor for and why. We cover what each test means and then the optimal ranges for each of those tests. And this also includes a patient lab tracking sheet to monitor your lab results and to track your progress and trends over time. And this has been something that is so helpful to us. We use it, and it's also been really helpful for our clients. So we want to give that to you. And again, so when you add it up, we're up to $3,200 now. And I feel like this is almost getting ridiculous with how much content we've included here, but we want this decision to be a no-brainer for you. So we are making sure that the value is sky high.
And on top of that, we're also giving away a 3-day anti-inflammatory thyroid meal plan with a shopping list because I like organization. So as a registered dietitian who focuses on whole food-based nutrition, I kind of nerd out on this kind of stuff. And I had so much fun putting this guide together for you guys. It includes some of our favorite recipes that utilize foods that specifically nourish the thyroid, all while helping to reduce inflammation throughout the body and set you up to heal. These are some of the ones that we personally come back to time and time again. This has been a super popular freebie, and it's something that you guys could just jump right in and start tomorrow if you just can't wait to get a jump start on your healing journey. The recipes are good, I can vouch for that, and they're also family friendly as well. So with the addition of that meal plan, that brings the total value up to $3,400. But let's take a look at what we have for you tonight.
So everything we have mentioned and everything we're including is worth $3,400. But because we are actually giving this course and more away for just $597, and this is quite literally a fraction of the price, you guys, because we know that this information is so important and it needs to get out there and be used. And to make this even better for you guys, because you are here right now, and we know that means that you are serious about healing and that this truly matters to you and your health, we are knocking another $100 off the price just because you're here right now. And we know how valuable this content is. We've seen it change lives, and we want to get it into as many hands as possible. So remember this, we have gone through the Hashimoto's blues, and it is so important to us, like highest priority, to help you work your way to a better place with your health.
So again, here's our offer for tonight and the webinar attendees only. Regular price is $597, but we're knocking $100 off just for being here. And I just want to put this in perspective. This is less than $100 a week for content, worksheets, resources, handouts, community, live calls, and so much more. If you were working one-on-one with a provider, this might only be 2 to 3 hours of their time. And I know I might have spent that on just a couple of consults in the early days of my journey that didn't really get me anywhere. So it's really a great deal, less than $100 a week. And I also want to share Leslie's story here because some of you may be thinking, well, I'm pretty competent with this stuff already. I've had Hashimoto's for 15 years. I don't know if I really need this course. And Leslie says this, I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's when I was 18 years old. While I learned the basics, it wasn't until several years later that I started trying to learn more about it. I thought I knew a fair amount coming into the Healing Hashimoto's course at the age of 30, but I learned a great deal from the information that they taught. One of the most helpful aspects of this course for me was learning how to figure out the root cause of my Hashimoto's diagnosis, because that is something I've never explored before. I would say that the main focus of this course is teaching you how to be an empowered Hashimoto's patient, and that is also the main reason I recommend this course, because Tracy and Carly provide you with all of the information and knowledge that you need to become just that. And that really is our hope, that you would leave our 6 weeks together confident and empowered to know the next steps that you need to take to finally take back your health and overcome your Hashimoto's.
It really is. And we are so excited to be offering this to you guys. It's such a great course. But back to our masterclass right now. Let's take a minute to reflect. Why did you register for this training? And then why did you show up? How are you feeling on a day-to-day basis right now? If you are like most Hashimoto's patients, if you fit into that Hashimoto's norm, there is lots of room for improvement. So my question is, are you ready to take the next step?
And that next step can be big or small. But if you are serious about making some major improvements in your health in the next couple of months, we would love to have you guys join us for the August launch of the Healing Hashimoto's course. We're giving you $3,400 worth of content for tonight's masterclass price of just $497.
So don't forget, we're keeping the group small because we want to be able to personally engage with every single student. And we want to be able to do this in the same way that we have been teaching our one-on-one clients for years now. So we are ready to jump in, and we know that some of you are too. And there are two options to jump right in. The first one is the best deal. One payment of $497, that master class price. And then the second option, option 2, is the no-brainer. 2 payments, if you prefer that, of $270. And you guys, again, when you break this down, that is less than $100 per week for this important course and all of this incredible content. And here is one more note. This offer, this masterclass offer, it ends at midnight on July 25th. So it's kind of like a flash offer, and just for you guys who have signed up for the masterclass.
So I can feel you guys chomping at the bit. So here is what to do now. There's a button down below if you're watching in your browser that should look just like the one that popped up on the screen. It says, I'm ready to learn more about the Healing Hashimoto's course. You can click on that and it will take you to our registration page. If you don't see that button, or if you're watching on YouTube, then you can enter this web address to get there. It's www.frolicandflow.me/HHC for Healing Hashimoto's course. And once you've entered your details, you will officially save your spot in the course, and there will be a set of freebies with your name on them. And, oh my gosh, I'm like, okay, I have my email open up in this window behind, and I'm already seeing a couple of more than a couple trickle in. You guys are quick. I am super excited that you guys have taken that leap and decided to join this round with us. If you have signed up, go ahead and leave us a note in the chat saying that you are on board with us. Okay, I got too excited. I know that some of you probably have some questions. So even though we are a little bit over time, we're gonna stay on here for a little bit and make sure we answer those questions for you. We wanna make sure that if you are on the fence about this course, we help you get off the fence, because the fence is not a fun place to be. So if you have general Hashimoto's questions, you can feel free to ask those here as well. Or if you have course related questions, feel free to ask those. And we will jump in and we'll cover some of our common FAQs here as well.
So, do you want to start with some of these FAQs, Tracy, or do you want to start with some of the chat questions?
Let's start with a couple FAQs while we give people some time to chat.
So the first one is, this is a really common question we get from people about the course when they're deciding if they want to enroll or not. So I'm on medication and my doctor told me that's all I can do for my Hashimoto's. Why do I need to take this course? And we did cover this a little bit, you guys, but conventional medicine uses a pharmaceutical-only approach to Hashimoto's. And what it does is it disregards the reason that autoimmunity occurred in the first place, that root cause. And medication is necessary for most people with Hashimoto's, but if you don't upgrade your diet and lifestyle, in response to your root cause healing, you're never going to feel your best. So the holistic approach that Tracy and I advocate for is that it's an approach that asks, why is Hashimoto's occurring? And how can we address the cause, not only the symptoms? And what's crazy is time and time again, the root cause approach is what helps people regain their health and their life. And in this course, we give you a blueprint for how to do just that.
Okay, so here is a question. I have Hashimoto's, but I don't know anything about my thyroid medication or my labs. Can I still take this course? And yes, absolutely, we would love to have you in the course. We are going to teach you everything from the ground up. So everything about your thyroid and how it works, how to work better with your doctor, what your labs are, what results you should be looking for, and so much more that we covered earlier. So every module and handout uses plain English, not the medical jargon. So even thyroid beginners are totally welcome.
Awesome. And then let's answer maybe one or two more. I know we are short on time. If you have any questions about the course or general Hashimoto's questions, feel free to ask away. We'd be happy to answer them. So I've had Hashimoto's for 18 years, and I have another autoimmune disease as well. Can I still take this course? And the answer to that is yes. Just because you've had Hashimoto's for a long time, or what may seem like forever to you, doesn't mean that you shouldn't take this course. You probably want to better understand Hashimoto's, autoimmunity, and the root cause approach to healing. And if you do, then this course is for you. So we're going to focus specifically on Hashimoto's in our 6-week course, but we also cover general autoimmunity in depth as well. The truth is that all autoimmune diseases have similar root causes, and we want to make sure that you know what those root causes are.
Yes. So here's a question from the chat. Kelly asks, is there a certain type of exercise that is best? Yoga and calmer exercise like walking has been incredibly helpful for me, but I go back and forth between high intensity exercise as well. I listen to my body a lot for this, but I was wondering if there's a certain exercise that we should avoid altogether. Kelly, this is a great question. And we definitely cover this in the course and teach you how to listen to that feedback that your body's giving you and why that is important. The short answer to your question is that it has to do with how your hormones are doing and how your thyroid level is doing. We find that low intensity exercise is pretty much always beneficial, but high intensity exercise can sometimes be too much if your hormones are out of balance, which would include your thyroid.
I think that's a great answer. And just to summarize that is, it's different for everyone. Mm-hmm. So we help people figure out where they are on the autoimmune spectrum, where they are with their Hashimoto's, and then make decisions based on that. Some people can handle high intensity exercises, and for others, in different points at their healing journey, they are going to do better with more low impact, less intensity. I know for me, there were points in my life where I was just walking and just doing yoga, and now I'm weightlifting. I love yoga. I walk all the time, and I am able to handle more high intensity yoga, or more high intensity workouts, but that wasn't always the case. Mm-hmm. So our course definitely does a good job helping you figure out where you are for exercise and how much you should be putting on your body, how much you should be enduring.
Yeah. Here's one more from the chat. I've been told that immune boosting things like elderberry, certain essential oils, echinacea can't be used with autoimmunity. Any thoughts on this?
Do you want to take one?
Sure. So this, again, is something that we talk about, and it does, again, depend on the person and the context. There's a difference between immune modulators and immune stimulators, and different herbs, different essential oils, things like that fall into those two different categories. So we also think about it in terms of the individual and where that individual is with their journey and how much their immune system might be able to handle versus how much they would benefit from those certain herbs and supplements. So it's kind of a contextual question.
Yeah.
Carly, anything you want to
Yeah,
add about that?
you are in a place where you're feeling really strong with your health, your autoimmunity, you're in a place where you've gotten your antibodies in check and your thyroid is functioning properly. Some of those herbs, some of those immune stimulating herbs are going to be okay. If you are more in a place where you are not doing well with your health and you know your immune system is still dysfunctioning, then we're going to want to try to incorporate more immune modulators rather than immune stimulators.
Which makes perfect sense, because if your immune system, as we learned, is attacking your thyroid, you don't want to stimulate it to attack your thyroid more. So great question. Thanks for asking that, Julie. Okay, any other questions? Feel free to drop them in the chat. Otherwise, I think, Carly, any other questions you want to cover from our FAQs?
We do have a few, but I really do think we got to wrap this up.
Yep,
We've gone a little bit over. Thank you all for being here. We cannot wait to see you in the Healing Hashimoto's classroom. So make sure you sign up. Again, our class is halfway sold out, so reserving your spot is important. It is, again, less than $100 a week for this, I'd say, life-changing information. We have seen it change people's health and lives. So we are so excited to launch in August, beginning of August, and we can't wait to have you in our community.
Yep, absolutely. Remember, we've got the two different options. Option one payment $497. Option two, the no-brainer, 2 payments of $270. And that link, again, is frolicandflow.me/HHC. So thank you guys again so much for tuning in with us tonight. It really was such a pleasure to be here with you. We love doing this work, and that is why we put together this class for you. And we cannot wait to see how you guys are going to change your life, and cannot wait to see you guys inside the Healing Hashimoto's course.
Have a great night, you guys. Bye.
Bye.